is coming. We gotta catch it if we can. The magic's unfolding, and you can hold it in your hand. We can touch tomorrow today to make some memories that never fade away. Put your hand on the future. Share a dream together around the world. With a voice from every country, a face from every land. We'll celebrate the future hand in hand. We'll celebrate the future hand in hand.
After years of research, investments in time, money, and energy, the town of Hanson is now facing a critical decision about how to address the issue of the deplorable condition of the two elementary school buildings. Left unaddressed, both the Maquan and Indian Head schools will likely become a crippling problem to the town's finances, as both buildings will need millions of dollars in repairs and have the potential to bring liability exposure due to the many existing and unknown safety hazards. Even with costly repairs, just like an old house or a car, once one problem is fixed and addressed, others are likely to appear. In addition, every dollar spent on repairs will be 100% the responsibility of the Hanson taxpayer. Every dollar spent is an actual dollar out of the pocket of the Hanson taxpayer. The good news is the town of Hanson has been approved by the Massachusetts School Building Authority to replace both schools by constructing a single building, with the town of Hanson responsible for just about half of the cost. The new elementary school is good for you and good for Hanson. With this new building, the town will realize savings by the combining of services, which are currently duplicated by having two buildings. For example, while there are currently two principals, only one would be needed in the new single building. In addition, new energy efficiencies and other modern technologies could also bring savings and more cost certainty. Now, the Indian Head School may look like a sturdy old building from the outside, but the sad reality is this 62-year-old structure has many problems. The slate roof is literally peeling away. Take a walk around the building and you will find heavy and often sharp pieces of slate on the ground. In order to protect students, staff, parents, and guests, much of the outdoor area around the school has been closed down. The cost of fixing the problem continues to rise, while the damage created by waiting also escalates. The building itself is in a structural crisis. Cracks in the sides of the building can be found all around the structure. These cracks are compromising the ultimate safety of the building and will need to be addressed in order to keep the building safe. Because of its age, many of the problems have not yet even been discovered. For example, 2 years ago, a ceiling collapsed in a classroom. Luckily, no one was in the room at the time. Otherwise, the results could have been tragic. The building has no insulation, which literally sends tax dollars and heating costs through the roof. The lead paint in the building has been identified and is closely watched and monitored. The cost of removing it is simply cost prohibitive at this time. Keep in mind that as problems arise, no one but the town of Hanson will bear the costs. And if and when issues arise, which brings higher price tags, not only will those issues need to be addressed, but bringing the building into compliance with current building codes also becomes a requirement. This would cost the town millions of dollars. Unfortunately, the problems at Maquan are far more desperate, and the building is literally on its last legs. A separate video has been produced outlining all of the specific problems, but in summary, this is an overview. Much of the roofing system needs to be replaced as it dates back to 1966 and is tar and gravel. The building envelope itself has major issues, including windows, rotten sills, the repointing of the brick, and more. There are major issues with the antiquated electrical system. The company which made most of the equipment has long since gone out of business, so there is no technical support or parts available. The plumbing infrastructure fails regularly, and the heating system is virtually impossible to fix. Despite patchwork replacement systems like the new heat exchanger purchased by the town of Hanson this year, the heating system relies on a 1963 boiler, and even if those were somehow replaced, Univents are so old they don't even make parts for them anymore. So when something breaks, the school must contract for custom parts, which of course is extremely costly and takes a lot of time. The door frames are also a big problem. In fact, a very heavy door recently fell off in a bathroom. Luckily, no children were underneath it at the time. There are major safety concerns throughout the building, from the air quality to the lack of sprinklers. There are many worrisome problems. Access for the disabled throughout the building is cumbersome. Despite a new chairlift, travel between floors is difficult for anyone in a wheelchair. So it is obvious there has been no disputing or debating the facts when it comes to the condition of each building. Everyone understands the major problem. The biggest concern, though, is how to resolve these issues, and there are basically three paths that can be chosen. One would be to follow the recommendation of the feasibility study which the town of Hanson paid for and take advantage of the at least 50% state funding reimbursement for the construction of this new Hanson-owned building. While there will be a significant cost to the taxpayer, the new building promises greater efficiencies and reliability. A new facility is a long-term solution. Abatement issues and roof repairs are eliminated. Building maintenance is proactive, and costs to taxpayers are predictable. Choice 2 would be to start the process all over again. If the town of Hanson rejects the Massachusetts School Building Authority's approved project, uncertainty will reign supreme. Even as the known issues are addressed, future problems are inevitable and unpredictable in buildings of this age. The analogy of fixing an old car comes to mind. You may fix the brakes, the suspension, get a shiny new paint job, only to discover a year later you need a new transmission. If the MSBA rejects a renovation plan, the town of Hanson could still choose to go it alone, but absorb 100% of those costs. This, of course, could prove to be cost prohibitive. Choice 2 is literally a roll of the dice. How much will it cost? Will there be future problems? Will there be reimbursement? Will it disrupt the learning environment while work is being done? All of these questions have already been vetted and carefully reviewed by the Building Committee and the MSBA, which is why Choice 1 has been the chosen path. It is the most cost-effective and best long-term solution for the town of Hanson. In fact, the renovation plan at both schools, which was presented during the feasibility study, actually proved to be more costly than the new building itself. Choice number 3 is to kick the can down the road and do nothing and just take the problems as they come and allow our children to be educated in substandard facilities, which, at its best, is uncomfortable and inadequate, and at its worst, contains serious safety concerns. Choice number 3 could also prove to be disastrous to the town of Hanson's fiscal health, as the laundry list of problems will have to be addressed, or the town could face the prospect of having the buildings condemned and shut down. The new elementary school is good for you and good for Hanson. In the long run, the town will actually save money by taking advantage of their strong relationship with the Massachusetts School Building Authority and the 50% reimbursement that comes along with it. The new school is good for you and good for Hanson because it gives our town its own building, which will be the centerpiece for education, but it will also serve the community in various other ways. Its proximity to the senior center makes it a logical location for seniors to hold meetings and functions that are too large for their own facility. Our seniors deserve that. Youth groups, youth sports, and other community-centered activities will also enjoy better facilities to truly enhance our community. In the end, this is what it is all about. Our town, our community enhanced through education. The new elementary school, good for you and good for Hanson.